How do you deal with clutter? Do you have one of those drawers in your kitchen? How do such places get so full so quickly? My name is Ian Currey and this is Thinking Out Loud. Come on, let me tell you what I think. This week I had a look through some old photographs. I'm not sure how we ever managed without digital phones and computers. Most of our photos are sort of kinda in albums, but there are still an awful lot of them in envelopes along with the negatives, in case we want to print extra copies. I'm not sure why we actually keep them, or for that matter, why most of them were taken in the first place, but nonetheless, there are several shoeboxes full of these things. And they're just there for us to sort through once in a while. Mostly, I'm not brave enough to throw them out, but sometimes, when I don't know anyone in the pictures, and no clues exist of the date or place, I do wonder why we keep them. One thing I often notice in old pictures is the wild patterns on the carpet and wallpaper. Whoever thought any of them? What a good idea. I know plain walls and floors can look stark sometimes, but I like a clean, simple look more than a house full of clashing colours and clutter. Clutter is another thing altogether though, isn't it? I mean, why do we keep knickknacks from 50 years ago that once had some mystery or intrigue or whatever, and now collect dust, and nobody can remember where they're from, and in some cases what they even are? We have a cupboard with glass doors full of such things. I will say we have been very careful only to keep things that are special, but one of these days I should label a few things so we actually remember that the chunk of concrete was once part of the Berlin Wall and where the tin car came from. One of my family members had a drawer in their kitchen, just like most of us do. The difference is that on their birthday, they would dump the whole drawer into the box and seal it, and then put it on top of a tall cupboard. If the next birthday came along and the box hadn't needed to be opened, it was thrown out unopened. What a lovely idea. I try to throw out 2 pieces of reading clutter for every new one I keep, but still my clutter pile seems to grow when I'm not looking. This week I've had a few days off and so made a mental list of all the things I wanted to do. I could get this and that project finished, build that, fix this, and clean up the front garden. Nope, not a single thing. In my defence, we did go and sit beside the lake for lunch one day, and that's much more important than sorting clutter. While we sat munching our sandwiches, I noticed a dragonfly. First, let me show you a picture and see if you can see him. He's just sitting there sunning himself. No? It's hard, isn't it? Let's have a closer look. You'll see him when he moves. Do you see how it works? Despite being right there in the middle of the picture, you probably found it hard to pick out the dragonfly. I'll show you the clip again in a moment, and this time I expect you'll find it much easier to see. The reason we couldn't see the dragonfly, or not easily, was clutter. In this case, it was leaves and twigs. But so often in our own lives, we can't see things because of the things we have around us. Clutter can come in a variety of ways, can't it? Sometimes it's habits or hobbies, and sometimes it's just stuff, and sometimes just the plain old busyness of life. Keeping the main thing can be really hard sometimes. I have a garage full, or getting full, of projects that I need to either throw out or finish. I mean, there's room out there for things, so it's not too much of a problem, but slowly, as space gets taken up by one thing or another, parts for that machine I intend to fix or legs for the table I want to make get lost in the clutter. With a few more days before I get to go back to work, I'll have to stop procrastinating and face a day of cleaning up. Ugh. Finding time to read, think, be alone, meditate or pray or whatever, so easily get pushed out and eaten up by clutter of life, don't they? Oh, and don't get me started on how much time the internet eats. But the internet's designed to save us time, isn't it? Life's clutter eventually bogs us down until in the end we question even the meaning of life itself. I'm sure you're all identifying with me as I think of the clutter of life. This is nothing new at all, though, and even the wisest and most famous of ancient characters seem to have had something to say about it. There's a very well-known poetic passage written by King Solomon that drives the reader to think. I love that right there in the middle of it, there's a phrase, "a time to throw away." Let me read it for you as a reminder. For everything there is a season, a time for every activity under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to harvest, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build up, a time to cry and a time to laugh, a time to grieve and a time to dance, a time to scatter stones and a time to gather stones, a time to embrace and a time to turn away, a time to search and a time to quit searching. I sometimes wonder where things get to when I know where I left them. I love that there's even a mention of a time to quit searching. Fun. A time to search and a time to quit searching. A time to keep and a time to throw away. Lovely. There's a reason to throw out those old things that really don't mean anything to anyone anymore. A time to tear and a time to mend. A time to be quiet and a time to speak. I'm sure you've either read this before or heard some of it quoted. The section I've read can be a little confusing, or it can just confirm what we already know. Somehow, I find that sort of march of time stuff to be a little bit depressing, or at least if I think about it too long. Right where people usually stop reading is where my favourite part begins, though. Yet God has made everything beautiful for its own time. He has planted eternity in the human heart. But even so, people cannot see the whole scope of God's work from the beginning to the end. I love that eternity is a thought placed in our hearts by God. It might take me most of eternity to get around to some of those projects. In the end, what's important to us, the things we choose to hold around us, are either clutter or things that will help us see the beauty in what God has put in front of us. Choosing to enjoy the now and seeing how good God is to us might mean we have to let go of things that distract us from seeing what is right in front of us. Until next time, goodbye.